What's up, guys? Just a quick one here before I run off to work on another beautiful day out. And it's kind of the problem. It's a little too nice out. I'm used to being pretty well miserable by this time of year working outside. And the weather's beautiful. And it's going to be beautiful for the next couple weeks. But first, yeah, I said a couple videos back that you can barely get pasta here in southern Missouri and in Memphis. Last time I was down there, it was about the same way. It's not that it's completely out, but they stock it maybe once a week, and you kind of need to be there at the right time because it sells out within a day or two. It's been like that for 2 years here now, but evidently I did assume that it was like that everywhere. Evidently not. I got a couple of comments. So do me a favor. If you can get pasta in your area, say yes and tell me where you're at, because Wooden Nichols, when I spoke to him, had an interesting theory about red and blue states and who's getting what. I'll address this real quick too. Pasta, why don't you ever talk about man controlling the weather? Well, actually, I used to do quite a few videos about all of the spider webs up in the sky, but I hardly ever see them anymore. Are you guys still seeing those? They've definitely chilled out in the last little bit in my area anyway. But I'm also not one of those people that anytime the wind blows, I'm going to blame it on HAARP. I see a lot of people that no matter what happens, there's somebody behind it. And just tell me, do you honestly think, I'm about to show the events from 200 years ago, do you honestly think that people had all this secret technology all throughout history in this utopian Tatarian society, and it all collapsed and they kept it hid from everybody and nobody remembered any of it? You think if everything collapsed right now, nobody would remember that we had cars? I'm pretty sure that would get passed down to future generations because there'd be cars everywhere. But I've got something like 160 videos talking about how the weather's has shifted all throughout history and these really big changes have come. And so, no, I don't sit here and blame every little thing on man-made stuff. I think it's a drop in the bucket compared to what nature does. And no, I don't think they're controlling the sun at all. And there's all kinds of independent observations showing that, well, it went into a pretty good minimum cycle, and now it's firing back up and shooting off a bunch of stuff. If you want to hear about earthquake machines and all of this technology that somehow they didn't just go ahead and conquer the whole world and make everybody into androids like they're trying to do now, then there's plenty of channels out there that are going to tell you exactly what you want to hear without ever producing any actual evidence. Have fun. Bryce, welcome back to the real world. Believe it or not, when I started this channel, I was trying to support that theory, but I just couldn't bring myself to absolutely outright lie to everybody about everything, which is what some people do. Anyway, it is unusually cool here where I'm at and scheduled to be that way for the next couple weeks, and I can't help but look back at the Hunga Tonga event last year, and this was a VEI 6, and it did spray ash up into the stratosphere. It wasn't expected to cause any cooling worldwide. Mainly what they kind of expected was the ash would stay to the southern hemisphere. It's produced a lot of great sunsets, Australia and South America. I saw a couple. And I don't know if this is why it's unusually cool right now, but this may factor into it. Also, just last week, we had the Bezamiani volcano. It went off up to 50,000 feet again, so this is getting ash into the upper atmosphere. This definitely wouldn't have an immediate effect, but this is why I'm bringing this up. If you look at the events leading up to the 1816 year without summer, it started in 1808, and there's 2, 4, 5 eruptions before Mount Tambora went off, and then officially caused the year without summer. So a logical person would deduce that all of this added a little bit more to the pot, and then you had a really big one. So comparing that to today, it was Hunga Tonga equivalent to the 1808. They were both VEI 6s. And every little bit that goes up there is adding to the reflectivity and all that. just at a glance, looking at temperatures around the world, they seem unusually low to me. And I was wondering, you guys have lived where you're at for however many years. Is it unusually cool where you're at? And I understand that it's not going to be cool for everybody. There's still some places like I think Vegas is really hot right now. I think Texas just had a heat wave. So it's not going to be ubiquitous. But where I'm at, we've got highs of about 80 degrees for the next 2 weeks, where normally it would be high 80s up to 100 this time of year. Look at Paris, high of 78, all the way up to June 15th. Berlin, Germany, you got basically the same forecast, a little bit lower, 76, 77, all the way till the middle of June. Milan is definitely looking a little warmer, high 80s to 90s, which is basically what I'd expect about everywhere right now. Tel Aviv, Israel, high of 85. I would think that they'd be burning up by this time of year there. And then London, England, low 70s, 71, 72. I don't know the weather patterns there. You guys this may be your foggy time of year or whatever before you break into summer. But I just thought I'd throw this out there, have you guys weigh in on, is it unusually cold where you're at? Now, I would personally attribute this more to the shifting jet streams and ocean currents and all that than volcanic ash. But I don't know. I did check the current jet stream, and I am actually south of the Arctic dip, to where normally if you're north of it, then it'll be cooler. And I just remembered that Colorado had a big snowstorm a couple of weeks ago, late May, which was record breaking, I'm pretty sure. But now that I was double checking that, and this is dated May 31st, and they're saying between Tuesday and Wednesday, I guess that would have been last night, that there could be up to 18 inches of snow. Also, I've talked about the unusually high winds, and for the last week, it's calm today, but we've had, 15, 20 mile an hour wind gusts here, which, you have some in spring, but not every single day like it's been this year. And I've had people from basically all around the world weigh in on the high wind speeds as well. Anyway, you're not going to hear any outlets out there talking about cooler temperatures because it doesn't fit in with their narrative. But what I've been saying for years is we're probably going into a little ice age with all of this ultimately. But, you're just going to have erratic weather patterns to begin with. So you'll have even more intense heat than normal and more intense cold. So when we finally do flip over to summer, then it's probably going to be really hot. And they're already telling everybody that, well, due to CC, our electrical grid can't keep up to the demand, and it's all your fault because you drive cars. Anyway, I'm off to work and not have to sweat my butt off today, so that would be nice. Weigh in and let me know how it's going in your area. Static out.